Morning, how y'all doing? I haven't uploaded a video in a while. Got this project a few weeks ago. I ain't really posted nothing about it because I ain't done nothing with it. I've been sick. I had the flu, then an upper respiratory infection, and a lot of rain. But anyway, I picked this up real cheap. I couldn't pass it up. Boat motor and trailer with papers on boat, papers on trailer. It's a 1996 Sea Hunt 15. I think it's called the 153. Boat is in good shape, trailer's in good shape. Boat just needs some cleanup and love. It's got some stains on it, but all the gel coats are in relatively good shape. The life jacket storage, or anchor locker storage, someone's using it for life jacket storage and plugged the drain hole up. There's some epoxy. I removed the epoxy and I bought a stainless steel drain fitting to go in there. The hull is solid, no soft spots. Here's some epoxy. They just, anywhere they had chip on a gel coat, they put some marine tex on it. It's got a few spots like that. Like I said, it's just got stains. At one point you can see it had water sitting in it. Everything below the deck is composite on the Sea Hunt hulls. The only thing that's wood is under the gunnels. I guess the wood rotted out. The handrails are loose on both sides. There's no way to access the bolts, to tighten the bolts. So I guess I'm about to drill some 2-inch holes with a hole saw. Find some plastic plugs to cover over it. That way I can get in there and try to make the proper repair or pull the rails off completely. This side is storage. That side is a live well. I mean, the boat's pretty basic. Transom is solid. Boat factory spec says it weighs 1,000 pounds dry weight, and it feels like a good 1,000. I don't believe it's waterlogged. See another chip in the gel coat, marine tex. Yeah, boat's in good shape, man. I wasn't looking for another boat, but it was such a good deal I couldn't pass it up. It came with 3 motors. Let me tell you the story on the motors. The boat came from the factory with a 9760 Tohatsu 2-stroke. The guy ran it, I don't know, for 10-15 years, and it eventually came down to where it needed a new impeller, a water pump change. He brought it to a shop. His local shop told him $500 to change the water pump. So the guy declined, said, no, I've got a buddy with a 70 horse for $200 that runs. I'm gonna go that route. So they pulled the Tohatsu off, put a 1982 75 Evinrude on here. After running the Evinrude for a few months, they hit something, destroyed the lower unit. Instead of changing the lower unit, they picked up this motor for $300. Put it on the boat, ran the boat about 5-6 years with this motor on it. This is a 1979 70 Evinrude. I ran it for a few years, and the water pump went out. Well, the guy already knows what the shop's going to charge for the water pump, so he paid some backyard mechanic to change the water pump. They dropped the lower unit. They changed the water pump. They put the lower unit back together. Still wasn't pumping water. They dropped the lower unit again to find out that the little copper tube that's inside the lower unit, let's see if I can get that on video, they misaligned it and crushed it. They crushed the tube. After they crushed the tube, they put a pair of like needle nose pliers on it, and they beat the pliers down, try to yank that tube back down, because when you go to put a lower unit on, you got about a 2-inch gap. The last 1.5 inches maybe, that tube makes contact inside the water pump. It's got a little hole that it lines up in. It wasn't lined up, it turned off to the side. So when you used the bolts to tighten up the lower unit, it was just bending that tube, it was pushing that tube up, and it cracked the tube. The only way to replace that tube is to pull the power head off. So the boat hasn't ran in over a year because of that. He did give me a spare tube. This is what the tube looks like. And I also have the other spare motors that that was with it. So I have everything set the time to get this motor running, get it back in the water. And I also have two other 70s like this, some 1975 models without power trim. This model has power trim. I have two 1975 models that are ready to go with no power trim. So it's a matter of spending a couple hours, swapping a motor, and I could be riding. I just don't have time to play with it right now. Like I said, the boat needs love. Electrical, nothing electrical works. It's got a lot of bad wiring. Typical with older boats. I'm not really too concerned about the wiring on the engine. This is a normal wiring condition for these old Evinrudes. But the wire in the boat hooked to the battery, nothing on the console works. It's got a different power trim switch because the Tohatsu control box came with power trim. The Evinrude didn't. It was a separate trim unit. None of the gauges work. At one time, it does not have a fuel tank in the floor, but it has a fuel gauge on the dashboard with wires that run back here. It looks like they had an old steel tank that came with one of the Evinrudes. That's what they placed back here. But yeah, this will be either I'm gonna fix it and keep it as a little grab and go fishing boat. It really is a nice boat. Not a single soft spot anywhere. Like I said, gel coat's in good shape. The only exception of the gel coat is on the edges where they bump in the docks. I got some cracks in the gel coat, which a person like me, that's fine. I'm not worried about the cosmetics of the boat. You know, the pinstripes faded, the bottom's in good shape, the hull's in good shape. Really, the whole boat's in good shape. So I'm either gonna keep the boat or I'm just gonna turn around and flip it and sell it. I got a price on it I couldn't pass up. I guess I can go ahead and say I paid $700 boat motor and trailer with 2 extra motors. None of the motors are running. Three of the motors are supposed to run. Tohatsu was picked up for a water pump and an impeller about 6-7 years ago. The 8275 Evinrude, they busted the lower unit. That was a running motor. And this motor has been over a year since it ran because of the water pump. All 3 motors turn over. They all have compression, and they're pretty much all complete engines. So for $700, I got invested. Just the trailer with papers is worth more than $700. Just the hull with papers is worth more than $700. I figure I can get a motor running, get maybe a good $3,000 to $4,000 from it, maybe more. Boat's in great shape. I'm gonna let y'all go. Just want to post another one of my little projects on the back burner. Thank y'all for viewing.